Byju Ravindran was once the embodiment of aspirational India, a stadium-filling math teacher who built the country's most valuable startup. Today, that $22 billion empire has vanished into bankruptcy. The collapse is striking because the company's origins were authentic. Ravindran, the son of school teachers from Kerala, possessed a genuine mathematical talent. He built a celebrity-like following by teaching friends to solve complex aptitude problems with startling speed, eventually filling auditoriums with thousands of students. In 2015, he adapted these techniques for the smartphone era. The Byju's app launched, scaling his methods through high-production animations and a mobile platform that could reach students anywhere in India, far beyond the limits of physical coaching centers. Middle-class parents, driven by a fierce desire for their children's upward mobility, quickly embraced the product. For a time, Byju's earned deep emotional trust because the technology seemed to genuinely solve a fragmented and poor-quality education problem. This wasn't a business built on a lie, it was built on talent and timing. The tragedy of the collapse lies in how that authentic core was later mutated by unchecked ambition. The trajectory changed forever during the pandemic. As schools shut down overnight, millions of children were forced indoors, and parents looked to screens to fill the gap. Global investors observed this emergency behavior and mistakenly treated it as a permanent shift in how the world learns. They flooded the edtech sector with capital, betting that the surge in online engagement would only continue to accelerate. This chart shows the frenzy. Funding rounds drove Byju's valuation to a $22 billion peak, but these massive valuations carry a hidden cost. They shift focus away from stable products toward the impossible scale required to satisfy venture capital returns. The pandemic functioned as a steroid rather than a foundation. It created a ticking time bomb of hyper-growth expectations that the underlying business model could never actually sustain once the world reopened. By 2021, the startup world had developed an almost religious faith in scale. Venture investors rewarded founders for spending aggressively, and profitability was treated as an old-fashioned concern for slower companies. Byju's leaned into this culture with a global shopping spree. They acquired massive, disparate companies like Akash and White Hat Jr. in rapid succession, attempting to build a global education ecosystem through acquisitions rather than organic capability. The spending was relentless. The Byju's logo appeared on everything from cricket jerseys to the FIFA World Cup. Branding and marketing took priority over operational discipline, as the company spent heavily to maintain its image of dominance. Reality hit when schools reopened. The intense pandemic-era engagement faded much faster than the company anticipated, and organic user interest plummeted, just as their costs reached an all-time high. Byju's had built an empire for a fully digital future that never arrived. To protect its $22 billion valuation, the company became desperate to generate revenue at any cost. This mounting desperation triggered a toxic pivot. To keep up with venture capital growth targets, Byju's transformed from a learning platform into a ruthless sales machine. Former employees described a workplace culture of impossible targets, where sales representatives used fear as a marketing tool. They targeted middle-class families with aggressive, emotional pitches, warning parents that their children would fall behind the rest of the world without their expensive subscriptions. This flowchart illustrates the financial trap. A simple subscription led to a complex web of loans and hidden EMI contracts families couldn't afford. Investors ignored this as revenue grew. The massive green bar masked the operational chaos and deteriorating trust, creating an illusion of success. By weaponizing the fears of parents to meet growth targets, Byju systematically destroyed the very credibility that its brand was originally built on. The final unraveling began when the company took on a $1.2 billion term loan from foreign lenders to sustain its massive burn rate. Debt operates with a different logic than equity. While venture capitalists might tolerate losses in exchange for future growth, lenders demand transparency, strict financial discipline, and a clear path to repayment. Byju's internal chaos could not withstand the scrutiny of these lenders. Financial statements were repeatedly delayed, board members resigned, and finally, Deloitte quit as the company's auditor, a massive corporate red flag. The dispute exploded into international litigation. Lenders accused the company of hiding $533 million in offshore structures, leading to aggressive court battles and bankruptcy proceedings across multiple countries. Relying on standard corporate debt proved fatal. It forced a startup that had been running on inflated expectations to finally answer to the rigid demands of financial reality. The fallout is total. Thousands of employees are out of work and vendors are left unpaid. Ravindran himself eventually admitted the company is now worth zero, marking one of the most staggering destructions of value in corporate history. The founder's arc has reached its lowest point. Ravindran is now fighting international insolvency battles and was recently sentenced to 6 months in jail for contempt by a Singapore court for failing to comply with orders related to asset disclosure. The Byju saga serves as an indictment of a global financial ecosystem that prioritizes paper valuations and hypergrowth over fundamental business stability. Visionary ambition eventually outpaced discipline. The pursuit of endless scale systematically eroded the focus required to protect the value the company was built to provide, leaving behind nothing but a cautionary tale of excess.